So if you give us a little background, you started out, didn't you, with traditional lessons?
Yeah, well, my mom and dad had a piano. I was about 5. And they got a teacher, Mr. Sanders, and we went through the Sham series, A, B, C, D, and the pre whatever. And I took to the piano quite easily.
So you learned scales and metronome.
I learned scales, and I learned
sight reading.
I learned to sight read. I had theory, but the theory went through one year and came out the other, because all I had to do was look at the page, and there was no sharps, no plus. Okay, all white keys. If it's one sharp, it was easy to do. And then when I sometimes had a chance to mess around with the piano, I would transpose and go down a half a key or up a key, but never really explored the ability to just improvise, because that was not part of my training.
Okay, now that you've had a little instruction in pop music and jazz chording, in letting some of this stuff you may not have been certain was inside of you come out, how do you feel now?
Oh, I can now, well, let's put it this way. Now I have an idea of why I'm playing the chords I am, and that there's some structure as to what jazz is. I've always liked jazz, or some parts of jazz, and I've always admired the jazz players being able to just go ahead and improvise with the rhythm and, key of C, key of D, whatever.
But now you're improvising.
I'm improvising, yeah, and problem is that if I like a couple of runs, I can't remember the heck what I did before. I go back and there's another variation.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's improvisation.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about being able to do what you couldn't do
fun.
Before?
It's fun.
Do you feel a little maybe free or freer with music, or what?
I'm not sure. Well, it's freer, put it this way. It's whatever I'm hearing in my mind, where I can do it myself and not have to depend on a piece of paper.
So you don't have to read what you're playing anymore for this kind of music. It just comes out.
Yeah, and so all I have to do is look at a few little symbols, like this piano chord. I'm not actually looking at, I know it's C major, but I'm looking at the red dots and going, okay, that's where I'm going. Remember, C major, C, E, G.
So you're thinking of a chord, you're looking at a chord in the blues progression of chords, and then you're starting with your right hand to play notes that go along with that chord.
Right, and then to go off of that chord, just as for a little discordance, and then go back in. That just sounds good. So it says... And now, with the left hand with the chord, then I know what the chord is, I can go ahead and play with my right hand and play around that chord.
Okay, great.
I think what jazz people do is
That's
play
right.
around a basic chord.
That's right. So I know you've had lessons before, but for someone who hasn't had lessons and may never have played, if they had the proper kind of basic instruction in playing chords and playing by ear, do you think that almost anyone could learn to do this at whatever level their musicality is in them?
I think so. I think like just where you have kids who take a guitar and learn 3 basic chords and then they think they're a professional. Okay, well, 2, 3 basic chords on the piano and play around with the right hand and you're the same as a guitar player, just those limited just to get started.
But you're doing that, only you have a little more training with your fingers than a person who's never done it.
Right, because my hands naturally follow a pattern because I've been playing for years, certain patterns. So
would you recommend for anyone who really wanted to get into it to explore this kind of playing?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and not even have to learn how to read music, just figure out what your chords are.
Okay, thanks.